which has been used in case of nuclear power plant for the energy production. Special nuclear materials consist of uranium-233 or uranium-235, which is enriched uranium or plutonium. Source material is a neutral uranium or thorium or depleted uranium that is not suitable for use as a reactor fuel. Byproduct material in general is a nuclear material other than special nuclear material that is produced or made radioactive in a nuclear reactor. Byproduct material also includes the tellurine, that waste produced by the extracting or concentrating uranium or thorium from an ore produced primarily for its source material content. Nuclear fission fuels are classified as a fertile or fissile by behavior on their nucleus in the fission reaction. Let's see about the fissile material and fertile material. In the fissile material, these are composed of atoms that can be split by neutrons in a self-sustaining chain reaction to release enormous amount of energy. In nuclear reactors, the fission process is controlled and the energy is harnessed to produce electricity. In nuclear weapons, the fission energy is released all at once to produce a violent explosion. The most important fissile material for nuclear energy and nuclear weapon are an isotope of plutonium, plutonium-239, and an isotope of uranium, uranium-235. Uranium-235 occurs in the nature. About the fertile material, these are not itself fissile, that is fissionable by normal neutrons, that can be converted into a fissile material by irradiation in a reactor. There are two basic fertile materials. One is uranium-238 and thorium-232. When these fertile materials captures neutrons, they are converted into fissile plutonium-239 and uranium-233. This is details about a nuclear material and its type. So in the most of the nuclear reactors or nuclear power plant, the uranium, thorium and plutonium, these nuclear materials have been used, which are enriched by some systematic process. Let's move further to the nuclear power reactors, where the nuclear energy is released by the nuclear reactions or nuclear chain reactions, and that is when absorbed by the coolant, which will be transferred or utilized to convert water into the steam. Nuclear reactor produces and controls the release of energy from splitting the atoms of elements such as uranium, plutonium. In nuclear power reactor, the energy released from continuous fission of the atom in the fuel as heat is used to make the steam. The steam is used to drive turbines which will produce the electricity. This is applicable to most of the fossil fuel plants. Earlier, we have seen it in case of thermal power plant as well. As far as fuel is concerned, usually pellets of uranium oxide UO2 are arranged in tubes to form fuel rods. The rods are arranged into fuel assemblies in the reactor core. So uranium oxide, pellets of uranium oxide has been used as a fuel in the nuclear power reactors. As far as moderator is concerned, it will control or slow down the release of neutrons from the fission so that they can cause more fission. It is usually a water, but maybe heavy water or graphite as well. This is the pictorial view of nuclear power plant, in which this is the containment structure of the reactor, where we can see with the help of nuclear fuel, the energy is produced in this chamber or nuclear reactor. This released energy from the nuclear fuel or nuclear chain reaction is being transferred to the steam generator with the help of coolant. So heat energy released in the reactor is being absorbed by the coolant, and the heat energy absorbed by the coolant is then absorbed by the water, or it will be helpful to generate steam from the water. This produced high pressurized steam is utilized to drive the turbines, and once it has been used by the turbine to drive, then after it will be once again condensated with the help of cooling towers, and once again that heat is been recovered to produce a heat to produce the steam once again in the steam generator. So this is overall working structure of the nuclear power plant. In this, one more important component is the control rods. You can see it very clear in the picture below. The control rods are made with the neutron absorbing material such as cadmium, hafnium or boron, and are inserted or withdrawn from the core to control the rate of reaction or to halt it. That is, secondary shutdown system involves adding other neutron absorbers, usually in the primary cooling system. So with the help of control rods, the neutrons are absorbed, and once the neutrons has been absorbed, the nuclear chain reaction can be into the control form. So therefore, control rods plays a significant role or vital role in the nuclear reactor. For this control rod, cadmium, hafnium or boron is most preferred material because these are the neutron absorbing material. Therefore, it has been used in the control rods. So this is image of the nuclear reactor, where you can see moderator. This is fuel element channel inside which the fuels are placed. Then graphite moderator, which will slow down the process, and the control rod which will absorb the neutrons. So this is hot gases, and this inside assembly is the reactor core. Here we can have the heat exchanger, which will transfer or exchange the heat from the nuclear reaction to the steam generator. So this is about the nuclear reactor. Then about the coolant, a liquid or gas circulating through the core so as to transfer the heat from it. In light water reactors, the moderator functions also as a coolant. So in case of nuclear power plant, the energy produced in the nuclear reactor or core of the nuclear reactor is being absorbed or transferred with the help of coolant. For example, in case of light water reactors, it is a kind of a reactor or type of the reactor in which moderator functions also as a coolant. Then pressure vessel or pressure tubes, usually a robust steel vessel containing the reactor core and moderator or coolant, but it may be a series of tubes holding the fuel and conveying the coolant through the moderator. And the most important is the steam generator, which will rotate the alternator's rotor with the help of, which will generate the electrical energy, and the rotor of the steam generator, as it is mechanically coupled with the turbine and which will be driven by the steam, it will get rotate and produce the electrical energy. About the classification of the reactors, many criteria have been referred to classify the different nuclear reactors. So first, the classification is based on the neutron energy. In this, we have the fast reactor and the thermal reactor. In case of fast reactor, fission is affected by fast neutrons without use of the moderators. And in case of thermal reactors, fission is affected by fast neutrons are slowed down with the use of moderators. So first is referred without moderator and second is without the moderator. The slow neutrons are absorbed by the fissionable fuel and chain reaction is maintained throughout the cycle. Then on the basis of a fuel used, so first is a natural fuel and second is enriched uranium. In the natural fuel, natural uranium is used as a fuel and generally heavy water or graphite is used as a moderator. So wherever natural fuel, the fuel which is available in nature, if it has been used directly, for example, a natural uranium, so heavy water or graphite is used as a moderator in that type of reactor. In case of enriched uranium, the uranium used contains 5 to 10% of uranium-235 and ordinary water can be used as a moderator. So depending on the type of fuel, we have two types of nuclear reactors. One is a natural fuel and other is the enriched uranium. Third type of classification is based on the moderators used. So depending on the moderator, we can categorize or classify the reactors. So first is water moderator, where water is used as a moderator fuel. Then heavy water moderated, then graphite and barium. In the next basis of classification is coolant used. So in some reactors, water is used as a coolant. Then gas is also used as a coolant. Then liquid metal and organic liquids. So these are also used as a coolant. The main function or main use of the coolant is the transfer the heat or exchange the heat from the nuclear reactor to the steam generator. Depending on the use of reactor, so first is electricity nuclear power plant, then propulsion, nuclear marine propulsion, and second is various proposed form of the rocket propulsion. Then other use of heat, in which dissemination, heat for domestic and industrial heating, and hydrogen production for the use of hydrogen economy. So these are very rare type of available energy conversion methodologies or methods, that is domestic and industrial heating. Very rarely the nuclear fuel is used as a source of energy. Then depending on the production reactors for the transmutation of elements, then in this breeder reactor, a fast breeder reactor are capable of producing more fissile materials than they consume during the fusion chain reaction by converting fertile uranium-238 or plutonium-239, which allows an operational fast reactor to generate more fissile material than it consumes. Thus, a breeder reactor, once running, can be refueled with the natural or even depleted uranium, then creating a various radioactive isotopes such as americium for use in smoke detectors and cobalt-60, then molybdenum-99 and others used for imaging and medical treatment. Production of materials for nuclear weapons such as weapon grade and plutonium. So these are graphical representation of different types of reactors. In the next lecture, we will see all these reactors in detail. Thank you.